he said to me, he thinks he could sit in his bed all day, right, and build any business in any sector and be successful.
Just that sentence, treat others how you want to be treated. But I might want to be treated a different way to Alex, how Alex wants to be treated, how you might want to be treated, how Dan might want to be treated.
Yeah.
So I always think treat other people how they want to be take. We'll just wait for Alex to finish on his phone.
So should we go through the question? Do you want us to go through the questions rather than have...
Sorry, some of us have actual deals going on.
Can't even spell deal.
Of course I can. It's
D-E-E-L.
Should we just sit here and just chat shit and drink wine?
Yeah.
This is what we're doing anyway.
Yeah, true.
That's basically every podcast.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to episode 8 of the Three Intrapreneurs Podcast. And today we are going to be speaking about AI. But before we do, we are going to get ourselves into this little tradition of getting a cool drink. So yesterday, one of us went to Berry Brothers and Rudd, which is a really famous wine shop in St. James's. And it's quite expensive. It's three figures. I won't say exactly how much, but you guys owe me money. Let's just say that. I bought a bottle opener.
Do that unwrapping.
Wow, look at that.
My housewarming gift from my friend Anton. Thanks, Anton.
What's it called, Benj? Senna
from Chile.
It's pronounced chili.
2020.
Couple of years.
And it looks red. So...
Do you want to read out the blurb at the back?
Senya is a sign or signal extended to all who follow their dreams. Senya's founders, Robert Mondavi and Eduardo Chadwick, shared a dream and joined forces to make a truly exceptional wine that would demonstrate Chile's world-class quality. Senya, a Bordeaux-style blend from Chile, is the finest expression of the Val de Aconcagua terroir.
What's the alcohol content? Skip to the alcohol content.
That's it. 13.5% alcohol, 75 centilitres.
How can it be from Chile if it's from Bordeaux, though?
If you listen to me, I said it was a Bordeaux-style blend.
A Bordeaux-style
so
from Chile.
It takes 1 hour to decant. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it now, and then we're going to come back in an hour and continue filming the podcast. Okay, we're back 1 hour later. Today, we are going to be speaking about AI. What is AI?
Artificial intelligence.
Good. Next question.
Why don't you give us a brief
that's what
what
it
AI
stands
is
for.
first?
Okay, so AI is intelligence, but it's artificial. And basically, what you can do is,
Tell you what, I've got an idea.
You caught me off guard, mate.
Okay,
I asked the question.
I've got an idea. Okay.
Someone's calling you, by the way.
Right.
Yeah.
I've got an idea.
No. Let me finish, because now it's going to look like I'm going to look like an idiot. I have to answer that question now.
You don't know what it is.
I do know what it is.
I think, look, I've just opened up the app, ChatGPT.
I swear I know what it is.
I'm going to ask an AI tool what AI is, and let's see what the answer is. Because this is like coming from the horse's mouth. This is coming from ChatGPT. This is like
coming from the robot's mouth.
Fine. So, what
I don't think they have
is
mouths.
AI? Put my plugins in.
Because they do.
Right, you ready? Okay, so AI, or artificial intelligence, is a branch of computer science that aims to create systems capable of performing tasks that would usually require human intelligence. Now, it goes on quite a little bit. We've got about 4 paragraphs here, but I think that first line kind of sums it up, doesn't it?
So it
a
replicates...
branch of computer science that aims to create systems capable of performing tasks that would usually require human intelligence.
Yes, that's actually a very good way of putting it, ChatGPT. I mean, a bit biased though, talking about themselves.
Asking ChatGPT to describe itself.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, what it is it provides people with tools that we didn't have, I don't know how many years ago, a year or 18 months ago? We didn't. I don't know when ChatGPT came out.
It's probably been behind the scenes for a while.
But it's pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I've used it a few times to help me write emails. You know, I'd copy and paste the email I've drafted into ChatGPT and say, make this more professional, or make this less aggressive, or make this less, I don't know,
sarcastic,
sexy, because I'm just too much sometimes. And it tones it down for me.
Mate, I use it every day. Every day.
Do you?
Like,
what for?
Everything now. Like, I've got to the point where I'm on the train and I normally look at like Prime Resi and all the news, the real estate news and bits and bobs. But sometimes you need snippets. So literally what I do is I will take a link, I'll put it into ChatGPT, I'll say, hi, Thingy, can you summarize this for me and give me the main points? And it'll give me like 3 or 4 quick sentences of the main points onto the next one.
So you've upgraded to the Plus because can't, the Joe
The normal
Blogs
one.
version can't have access to the internet.
Yeah.
So you pay, what is it, $20 a month?
I think
Does
it's
that
about
allow
that.
does that allow you to connect it to Siri as well? Hey Siri Pro.
You can do that. I mean, but for me, it's like this, like, well, I don't know how many plugins there are. There's hundreds and hundreds, but it's something for everything. And that is one of the plugins where I can literally take an article online or literally a link, put it into it, and it can summarize it all up for me.
Cool.
I use it to put together when I'm looking at pitches, like you said, with emails. It can search people online, find out a bio on them. So if I'm maybe going to go out and see someone new that I've never met before, I can say, hey, can you give me some research and background information on Alex Ivagora?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Well, I mean, I always find,
Hope not.
and I use it as well, it's only as good as the input that you put in.
Yeah.
You know, so for example, if you say, give me a profile on Benji Weinberg, I would imagine you're going to have to be a little bit more specific. And, you know, I think we'll probably come onto it in terms of, is it going to create jobs? Are jobs going to be lost off the back of it? I think there will be a massive skill set in terms of people that will be able to get the best out of the AI and your chat GPTs, for example, and will know the best prompts to get out of it. And I'm, you know, play around with it the whole time. You know, find myself, I've got the app on my phone now, which is lethal. Before it was on my computer, now it's on my phone, and I'm always talking to it, thinking how it reacts to certain things.
Like putting like blurbs for posts, social handles, everything like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
We'll just wait for Alex to finish on his phone.
So should we go through the question? Do you want us to go through the questions rather than have...
Sorry, some of us have actual deals going on.
You can't even spell deal.
You know,
of course I can. It's
D-E-E-L.
D-E-E-L.
D-E-E-L-Z.
Deal. And there's a silent N. Just to let you know. Step Brothers. That was brilliant. So good. Are you saying Pam or Pam? Oh, the N is silent. That's where we were going wrong. No,
Pam. Oh, it's 2 M's.
I love that.
Should we just sit here and just chat shit and drink wine?
Yeah.
This is what we're doing anyway.
Yeah, true.
That's basically every podcast.
And welcome to the podcast.
People haven't listened. This is just like...
We should change the name to Chatting Shit with the Three Intrapreneurs. Right.
Okay.
What benefits do you think AI will have on the real estate industry?
I think for me, AI in any sector, let's have a look at any sector first, like an overview. I think it's going to help with systems, processes, customer journeys, the distribution of data. So I think that in our industry, it's going to help, well, literally what I just said. I think it's going to help our customer journey, how we can interact with clients, how quickly information gets given to clients, which normally sometimes is a human error or you have to wait 2 or 3 hours before you get something. I think it'd be automatic. I think customer journey of how they go onto your website, how they interact. I think it was exponentially going to be able to, you know, to smoothen the process for a lot of businesses.
Sounds like Benji might, even with the use of AI, be able to be as good as agents as us one day.
Can't open up a door though. So.
Adding,
Benji's better.
I think adding on to your point with a slightly different angle, whilst I think it's going to improve the level of service that the client will ultimately experience, I think it will allow us agents to be better at our jobs, not just because we have all of this AI and all these new plugins that can make our lives easier, but because it makes our lives easier, I can be better at the things that I enjoy.
Yeah.
So for example, I can go and meet my client.
Yeah.
You know, I can go and be more personable and those sort of things because my time is freed up.
Yeah.
So whilst the AI will allow the client to have a better experience because the job is easier, their relationship with their client, like us, you know, for example, will be stronger because my time will be massively freed up. I don't need to be sat at my desk doing mundane, repetitive emails, which perhaps a plugin could do. I can go out and meet them for a coffee at Chiltern.
100%. And mate, funny enough, earlier I was in Home House. I was speaking to a wealth manager that I was just meeting today. And as we sat there, I had an email from a buyer of mine. And she had received a brochure. So our system, if people don't know our system, I won't tell our system, but we've got a system here at DDRE where if a property comes on the market now, let's say it's with Knight Frank down the road, that property, all the pictures, the assets, the floor plans, obviously get turned into our branding and then get sent out directly to buyers that match that criteria of property.
That's it, give away our system.
But so, I mean, they don't know. But we were at an hour's meeting earlier.
And your job was done for you.
And my job has been done for me. And it's in the quickest way, as soon as it's uploaded. Like this, you know, I could have like seen it maybe this evening and maybe sent the message tomorrow.
I don't think other companies can even do that.
Like that is amazing. That distribution of data.
Do you know what the next
within
step will do?
Seconds.
Do you know what the next step will be? It will go one step further. That person, the AI will have access to your email.
Yeah.
They'll see you've received an email saying, I'd like to view this property. You will be able to set up prompts that will automatically respond to that email saying, here's a link to my Outlook. And your Outlook will show her what's free, what's not free. And she'll book in a viewing.
Wicked.
So the next step will be you will get an email saying,
you can do that.
Viewing request on this day at this time.
100%. I'm sure you can do that. I met an AI guy last week. Blew my mind. Okay?
Is he real? Or artificial?
So I'm obviously just starting to learn more and more about it. And it seems like there's blocks. Like ChatGPT, like you said, Benji, it's like you have to put kind of data and stuff into it and it gives you answers. If you want to automate all these system and processes, you almost have to build up AI blocks. So like if information comes in, depending on the answer, it goes to something else, like it's like a domino effect. But he said to me that he's worked for a company that did newsletters, a monthly newsletter. And first of all the AI did all the newsletters for them. Then they put in their CRM, let's say they've got 1,000 people. This next level of platform would say, tell me everything about Alex Ivagora. Okay. And it would look through everything online, LinkedIn, in social followers, and it will come up with basically the first paragraph of my newsletter saying like, hey, Alex, like, did you have fun in Bali? Let's say you've been to Bali. Like, I saw you got engaged last year. Congratulations. You know, you say like Benji.
This thing can actually see where you went.
Arsenal playing on Saturday against Tottenham. Like, man, are you nervous? Wow. And it will tailor that first paragraph.
That's nuts.
And it said everything's automated. So all that
and then the rest will be. So the first half will be tailored to who's receiving it.
It's a bit like Ren.
Bits and bobs.
It's like Ren mixed with.
It's also like he was then putting it into real estate. He would put like, so let's say some of your clients are Marylebone based. So then the second paragraph is just Marylebone data. Because obviously you don't want your Marylebone data going to your clients in Chelsea. It's kind of irrelevant for them. And he said, if you build up these blocks, he was like, he said to me, he thinks he could sit in his bed all day, right, and build any business in any sector and be successful. Because he said, I know where to get the data from. I know how to read it. I know how to process it, you know, and I know how to then distribute it.
So I think the key thing is, again, you know, not to repeat myself, is the data that you input, because you have to sit and you have to put time. You know, people will think AI is just going to do everything for you, but the AI, again, is only as good as the info you feed it. Yeah. So for example, you have to be able to tell it, you're an Arsenal fan, you live in Marylebone, those sort of things. So the CRM will have to have all of that information there to know how to automate it. You know,
did you say that it scrapes it though from the internet?
Yeah, but this one scrapes it from the internet.
Okay, is
so
that how accurate
like
can that be?
That's plugins though.
That's
again,
like
all of these plugins basically scrape together. Like there's one like yesterday, I think I looked on this AA route planner because we're going to Gatwick, Quinta Lago next week. I put it into ChatGPT like quickest way, and it, because of the plugin, it knows all the routes, where to go, the best thing X, Y, and Z. Any traffic come like predicted for like Wednesday morning. Like it's crazy, and that's a plugin. So it's like all these plugins adapt to all the information, like you're saying, Benj. That's all the data that goes into the back end of it, effectively.
Well, so talking about Quinta Lago, you know, I'm thinking about planning my honeymoon, and we're toying between ideas, and perhaps Japan is on the radar.
I wanted to go to Japan.
We can go, don't worry.
But not together.
But Harry doesn't want to go.
And I typed into Chat GPT, going to Japan for 3 weeks, create me an itinerary for a honeymoon. 2 minutes later, day 1 to day 3, day 3 to day 5.
Sick.
Tokyo, Kobe. It's just insane. It's created
Sick.
a whole plan.
Mental.
And wedding speeches.
No.
Can I also, do you know what, and she won't mind me saying this, our colleague Rasa, okay? So obviously Rasa,
What's her
she's from
surname?
Lithuania?
Yeah, what's her surname again?
I don't know how to pronounce her surname.
Bagdonovichuti.
Yeah, that's it. Smashed
Well
it.
done.
Mate, that's first time. You've been practicing that. Anyway, so Rasa, obviously a colleague of ours, uses it every single day. Obviously, she's sometimes conscious of...
ChatGPT.
Yeah, ChatGPT, in writing emails and so on and so on. And for her, it's the best thing in the world.
Because English isn't her first language.
It's not her first language, you know. So it's like us going to abroad and it's going to take years and years and decades for us to get, completely fluent in and also how you pronounce things and write it down.
I think the same with Oli as well.
Oh, Hamilton.
Yeah.
What posh to...
Make this
Posh.
less posh.
I don't think English is his first language. Either that or he just can't write.
But she, for her, it's an everyday thing now. It's like, it's great for her.
Good.
It's amazing. So yeah, I mean, I think it's going to change. If you can get ahead of it now and learn and kind of throw yourself in at the deep end to an extent, and because it is a bit of a black hole out there and we're like novices at this, so we don't really know. We know like the bare minimum of AI. But you have to kind of chuck yourself in and play around with it. And then I think you start to see the value that it adds.
Yeah, it's like with anything.
How can AI help real estate professionals identify and predict market trends more accurately?
Do you know, I literally was reading this. I mean, sorry, I need to stop. If I'm getting a bit boring, just tell me.
No, not at all, please.
You're a bit boring, mate. Sorry. Stop there.
But so this is a great question. Again, with all this AI and data, they can look back at previous data, previous markets across the globe, how things reacted during certain periods of time, how much prices increased, how much they decreased because of certain scenarios. So when you then type into it, we're just going through a bit of political uncertainty, or we're just going through a little bit of high interest rates. What it does is it looks back at previous times in history when we've had that.
Interesting.
And it will review all the data and it will give predictions. But these predictions are based on facts and data. So again, like Benji said, if you put in good questions that detail what you're looking for, it's like, how long would it take us to go back through like 2008 and all these times when there was like high interest, to review all the data? Where would we find that data?
That actually brings us on to the next question, which is, in what ways can AI enhance the efficiency of property valuations and appraisals? I think you've just said it.
Yeah, but I've got a bit of a gripe.
Okay.
We price per square foot, things can be a bit too price per square foot driven in London.
Yeah.
And you have to go inside the property, you have to look at it, you have to see the finishing, like an unmod, they might have modernised it. So someone that buys something get £10 million unmod a year ago and they've spent £5 million on it might be worth 18, 19 million now. If you put it into like a data prediction, it's like with these Zoopla estimates, and the AI technology says, the market's come on 9% this year, so that 10 million was now worth like 11 million or 12 million. Hasn't taken into consideration the interior. So I think that there is certain elements which will never take away what we, human touch and feel and vision and...
Yeah, well, I mean, so adding on to the question you just asked,
how will it enhance?
So I've got two very close friends that have recently set up a business. I think it's going to be game changing for the valuation side of the business, as you said. It's a company called Valos, and essentially whilst they don't automate the final figure for a red book valuation, obviously we're estate agents, but if you were to speak to a CBRE, a JLL, the Knight Frank valuations team, they do red book valuations, which we don't do. We do more desktop valuations for guidance purposes for marketing properties. But when you're remortgaging or you're buying a property, you have to get a formal valuation. So these two guys were at large corporate companies and were valuers. They were accredited, got their degrees and masters and blah-de-blah, all these letters next to their names. And they saw a gap in the market thinking, well, hang on, what we do is very repetitive for evaluation. So probably 60 to 70% of the same stuff or the same mechanisms of how they get their data is consistent across the board.
Yeah.
So whereas before perhaps it could take 2 weeks to get from point A to point Z, they have got from point A to, let's say, point X, not to the final point, in a click of a button, in theory. So I agree with you, the final, the condition, the finer details, which they, highlight that they need the human side of things to input it, and they want to work with the agents and the valuers rather than replace all of them. It frees up so much of their time. So I think, whether it can predict future trends remains to be seen. But in terms of, again, incorporating the AI and the tech that is available, it will just free up so much time. So they have, I won't say who or go into too much detail, but they have signed up some of those big hitters and the names that I just mentioned because they truly see the value in working with agents, valuers, to use the tech to make their lives easier. So I don't think AI will ever replace us. I think it will just make our lives easier and make the time frame of our jobs a lot shorter.
So having said that, and to build upon that point you just made, how might AI-powered chatbots and VAs, virtual assistants, revolutionize the customer service in the real estate industry?
I mean, so when I was at Knight Frank, there was, I think already an automated chatbot.
Yeah.
So you would go on the website if you saw a property or you were hovering on a property for a certain amount of time, something would pop up saying, are you interested in this? And then you'd have an automated conversation and it would get fed through to the local office. I think a chatbot is always very, impersonal. Like I always find it when I'm, for example, looking.
It's a chatbot.
It's a chatbot. Like if I'm going on my banking website, for example, or I'm trying to, or the doctor's surgery, and it's actually quite frustrating. I find to speak to an auto. I mean, look, if it's a very mundane question that you have, like what are your opening hours, that you can't be bothered to Google, and you can get that very quickly. But if you want beyond the first layer of just the generic question, again, it can't be replaced by a chatbot. It has to be a human. I think there will be elements, as I said, the automated email. If you get an email from someone saying, just received this email, would like to view it, fine. The next step can be, great, would love to help you. Here's the link to my calendar. So I think things like that. But when you need, if she wants to then ask, actually, which direction is the garden facing, or what time of day is it best to view it, that's only something perhaps you would be able to answer rather than the chatbot.
After a bot. I think it's obviously going to advance, isn't it? All this technology is advancing weekly, and I'm sure probably at some point it will know what way the garden's facing and everything. I think a lot of it for us as agents, when we like speaking to people, is that we don't just then want to talk to them about one property, do we? Want to find out what all of their requirements are. You want to get into the emotional side of things and find out about them and their family, offer suggestions like around maybe not exactly what they were looking for, but there's a few options here or there. But I'm sure what we do will at some point be the questions asked,
So that's actually interesting you say that, because I was going to ask you, what role can AI play in streamlining that process you just mentioned? So the property search process and helping buyers find their ideal homes. How can AI enhance that?
I mean, I think we've kind of touched upon it all earlier when we said before, like I sat down at a meeting and someone received a brochure.
True.
Whilst
Is that AI though? So we don't actually use AI. We have
AI?
somebody physically scraping the internet.
No, that's the back end though. But when we still have a property on there and it links into it, I see what you mean.
But every
Someone's
agency
put that
has
property
that.
in. Of course.
That's just an alert.
Yeah, but not every agency has that though, to an extent, because not every agency has that if it's not their listing.
True.
What we're very good at doing.
And by the way, we do make it very clear that it's not our listing.
Yeah.
We say non-exclusive advisor.
Yeah. But what we're very good at doing is, and I think we're the only company that does it, is that we really do offer our clients and our buyers 100% of the market, at least the on market.
We give them total market access.
Yeah.
Well, you say that we do.
We still put in off-market stuff as well, but that's still not. I mean, there's probably some things which don't get on there, but we are probably the only agency. I would say that if you're registered with one of us now, okay, looking for a property, okay, you will know that anything on that market or half, 3/4 of the off-market stuff, you're gonna see.
Yeah,
and that is more powerful than receiving like 10 different emails from like 10 different agents, and half the requirements are wrong, and sometimes they don't even send it out because they've forgotten to do it. You know, they don't, and that's happened. So
yeah, like if you speak to an agency, for instance, in, I don't know, Hadley Wood or Camden, 2 areas I know quite well, and you speak to an estate agency and you say, I'm looking for a property to buy or to rent, I don't think you're going to get every single property that ever comes up in that area.
Never.
You probably get alerts for properties that they bring on within that company, but not.
I don't think anyone
any property in the whole of that area.
Bar us, I don't.
But what's their incentive? Why would they do that? We're going a bit off topic here, away from AI, but we would do it because we're relationship driven.
They don't do it because it's time consuming.
It is time consuming.
It can be. It's time consuming. It's an effort.
It's time consuming, but it's worth our time.
We don't do it though. We don't do it. Personally, our in-house CRM does it for us.
I'm saying even like why wouldn't they set up the alerts that we've done, or the idea that we've had in-house, which is to set up the alert for the whole, even if it's not our listing, they still get the alert.
Maybe they just don't have the tech.
I don't think they jump onto it.
They don't have the tech. Yeah. If the tech was available for them or they knew about it, why wouldn't they?
I think it's because they can't be bothered.
It's lazy. Look,
it's lazy.
Say agents are lazy.
Even, I bet you this, if you speak to them, I bet they won't even physically go onto like Lomres or check Rightmove and say, just to let you know, there's this as well. I'm not listing it, but I can arrange a viewing for you if you want. And then try and get a fee from that agent.
I agree.
Even if not. I've had agents, in the past, now we're way better, but I've in the past said, I'm really sorry, but I can't pay you a fee. No problem, let's show it anyway. And they keep the relationship.
Good agency.
So that's very good agency. But again, we're going off topic. Let's stick to AI. But that's an interesting point maybe for another day. Are there any concerns or ethical considerations associated with the increased use of AI in real estate?
Yes.
And how can these be addressed?
So data is, I won't say the name of a company, but I have another friend that works for one of the biggest real estate companies in the world, and they were worried that using ChatGPT, they're plugging in all the data, and as I said before, it feeds off the information that you give it, and they were very worried that putting all the data and the information that they have access to into ChatGPT would then allow ChatGPT to use that to answer a question from another company, because it becomes as big as the info that it gets. So I think they were creating a subsidiary specifically for them.
It's interesting.
That allowed them to plug all their data in that wasn't then to be released to anyone else.
Yeah.
So there is that issue, the data side of things and GDPR and releasing all that information. But, I think it's that's a problem of any industry, GDPR and releasing of data, which is key. Yeah. So that is a concern.
Okay. Any more concerns?
They take over the world.
I mean, look, I think there will be job losses. I don't know if that's probably maybe one of the questions that comes up. I don't know, but
in real estate or in general?
Oh, in real estate, in every sector, 100%.
What job exactly do you think in real estate? Oh, no offense, Claudia.
It'll be. I think it will be the support staff side of things.
No offense, Dan, cameraman. I mean, you're not really doing much anyway.
But I can do anything for you.
Anything?
No. On a serious note, though, I honestly feel as well that it will drop out estate agents. I reckon some estate agents who are lazy and they don't add value. If you don't add value to a client because you can do it all on AI, then why the fuck do I need you?
Yeah, true.
So,
true. But then the AI that's an agent will just be a viewing booker.
Yeah, but there is like Benji said, there are so many other elements to our job, like the emotional side, at how sometimes you have to structure calls and
there could be an AI buying agent, but there couldn't be an AI selling agent. There could be an AI buying agent.
I reckon there could be both.
There could be one that scrapes on and off market properties, because we're doing that, and then sends the info to the buyer and
Books in the
says, yes, I
viewing.
want to see X, Y, Z, books in viewings with the agents, and then
But it's the same on the selling side.
Creates
though.
them a script to negotiate.
yeah, it could actually
But
negotiate.
That's the selling side. That's both. That's us as well.
Cut the cameras. I think we've got a business idea. Don't release that.
Copyrighted.
Get off the LinkedIn live.
Oh shit, we're live. Oh fuck.
Who's on the live?
Oh
We just
god.
hit the jackpot,
We
boys.
just hit the-
Yeah.
No, but I believe that ultimately that it's going to get to a point where people won't, or they won't need as many. You're not going to need 2 or 3 negotiators.
Yeah.
If you've got one person very good at their job and can add value to clients and knows how to manage things and the emotional side and that,
Well,
a lot of it's then done.
I think
yeah, it's
I
actually
think
really
putting
interesting.
aside AI, if you're talking about real estate and coming from a very large corporate company,
Thanks, mate.
I think unless you're a deal doer and
Yeah.
you're client facing, there's not going to be a space for you prior to AI anyway. If you're not bringing income
Yeah.
to these big businesses and you're managerial level and you're not bringing anything to the table and you're just a manager,
Yeah.
that's why I think managerial places, support staff. Oh,
Can't reach me.
oh, fair enough. You can.
I can. I'm just gonna have to.
I'm nervous about this.
I'm nervous. I'm just moving.
Do you want to do it?
Go on, I'll just
Not
move.
really.
I don't want to knock anything over.
Dan, make yourself useful.
Yeah. Can I give another aspect of how I think it could dramatically change our industry?
How much do you need to bloody twist this to?
Yeah,
That's enough,
my
thank
arm
you.
was shaking by the end.
Thank you, sir.
And I actually was speaking to a lady earlier. The whole legal system. Oh my fucking god!
Oh, in the UK.
I think
With
AI
real estate.
and blockchain and stuff can absolutely
It needs it. It needs an
let-
overhaul.
let's break it down. Right. Let's break quickly down.
Yeah, touch upon blockchain.
break it down now.
Like searches. Searches are what taking.
Come on, keep rapping.
Right. Searches what take like 10 days, 8-9 working days or
Can
so
be
to
more.
come down. Can be more,
Can be
depending on local councils. So that is probably a search which has been done. God knows how many people are selling in a borough at one time, like
Thousands.
1,000 or so, maybe
1,000.
maybe less. But either way, all those people have got the same search.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't tell me something that takes me 8 days. How the fuck can anything in this day take 8 fucking days? When like my neighbour down the road has got it, but I just don't know each other. It's
What actually
mental.
happens when someone applies for searches?
Well, that's
So a
what it
lawyer
is.
applies for searches.
Yeah.
What actually happens in
I
the
think
background?
an email gets sent to the council.
It's the council. You pay for it. It's like £200-300.
So is it a physical job?
There's
Like someone
environmental
actually
search,
physical?
water search.
I mean, it all
So
comes
someone has to
back-
physically do something?
It all comes back electronically. So,
So is
there's
that-
nothing
processing.
physical in the post.
Is this like a land registry? Like
It's just
click,
like a
click, that's your
it's
file.
It's just
It's
like a
click, yeah.
computer says no.
But it's just because they've got so
I would
many
have thought
happening
so.
and they don't do it at the same time, so it takes too long.
So isn't
But,
like
that
you've
is
got to go into like a library? Oh
No.
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 Not at all.
And if you did it the same thing for the neighbour 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So why do they need to go back and do it again?
This is
They
it.
only
It's like
last for
it's-
6 months, so I get that.
Yeah,
but
and
then
it-
fine, like update it every 6 months, and then just it's
It's
crazy.
that's my and then like the search, like, and then you go to the inquiries. Okay,
Mm.
let's say I bought the house 5 years ago. Like the buyer's lawyer is probably going to raise 90% the same inquiries as my lawyer raised when I was buying it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it takes all my time with the lawyer to go through them one by one and get all the same paperwork as it had beforehand, when really you should have a centralized, cloud where you can dip in and you can get all the inquiries that I had,
Yeah.
send it straight to the buyer. 90%, 70, 80% of those will be answered within a second. You should be able to have a search and have all the inquiries and literally have to
Within
pack over
24 hours.
Within 24 hours.
Yeah.
They can review it. They can say, there's a couple more bits, because we all know a few bits happen. There's going to be a few extra inquiries.
Change a few bits internally.
Change a few bits, and like we want a few more certificates X, Y, and Z. But like, why are we waiting like 10 days for searches, like 10 days potentially for them to raise inquiries, unless you've got you're high end in the market and pay for very good solicitors, and 2 or 3 days in to review the inquiries. It's bizarre.
In Dubai, you can buy a property in 1 day.
So how does it work? Because educate me on that process. Why is it different? Like why can you do that? Do you know why yet?
I will find out and let you know.
I'd be really interested.
But I think that's more for the new build stock. Inventory, sorry, I hate the word stock. I think if it's second-hand inventory, so a house that's been lived in and is being sold again, not from a developer, from an actual individual seller, then I think lawyers are involved and they probably do some sort of, I don't, let me find out for you. but I know you can buy a property in a day. Here, you can't do that.
You definitely can't do that.
It's too
No.
hard. Yeah.
Unless you're going to take a view on absolutely
You
everything.
almost just exchange contracts.
If it's like the deal of the century, no one's going to do that.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think, relating to AI.
I didn't even try to be funny there. Like, I was just saying,
It's insane. Like
Yeah.
the property
Bizarre.
market in London, how you acquire an asset, it has to change. And I think the use of AI and speeding things up will inevitably, as I said, my friend's company,
As I said,
my friend's company, the valuation
yeah.
side of things, that's been, it's been the same way
Expedited.
how you value a property for the last 150 years.
Yeah.
That's now going to change. So I think the same will be how you acquire property.
Can I?
No, you
It's a
didn't
fly.
get it.
Can I
You
ask you a
didn't get it.
question?
I didn't get it.
Right, this is a good question.
One sec.
Do we think that with the way AI is going, how quickly it's evolving and rapidly evolving,
What's it?
that at some point in time in the future,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
you'll get emailed a link, a brochure from an AI bot. You like the property. You're still going to have to probably book in a viewing, but there might get to a point where virtual reality and everything else is so high tech that literally you put on a headset and you feel like it's like
Like a
live.
3D
Let's say it's live.
The 3D
Yeah,
goggles.
well, yeah, but let's say they get so good, it's almost live. And
VR.
you see everything, and it's like, oh my god, I literally feel like I'm sat here in the room now.
That's VR.
Okay.
You can do that these
Yeah,
days.
but okay. Let's say the VR is amazing, like 10 times what it is now, and then you think, okay, sat down, you go, right, okay, love, let's buy this place, okay, and then you take your headset off, you go online, and it's like Amazon, and you press buy now.
I mean,
And
you
it happens.
can't.
No, but do you think that at some
why
point,
do you say you can't?
At
Unless
some
the
point-
UK transaction model changes.
Blockchain.
this is it. But can it at some point? I'm not saying
It's
now.
just so old-fashioned.
Will it in the future?
Yes,
Maybe.
yes.
You can click and buy.
Yes.
But
If
this
you
old-fashioned
You
process.
reverse 5 years. There was no such thing as Amazon Prime.
I know.
I could order something now and it will be at my front door tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's
5
weird.
years ago, you would say that's insane.
You can
and that's
actually
5 years.
You can now say Alexa, buy toothpaste, and it will do it.
Yeah.
So in answer to your question, yes. Whether people will adopt it and actually use it, perhaps for the overseas clients who make those decisions at the moment now anyway. But I think for your normal Mr. or Mrs. Smith who live in a £250,000 average home, which is 95% of the UK population and the world's population, I would say that wouldn't work for them. I've dealt with buyers and tenants who won't buy or rent something unless they feel a good karma or a nice energy about the house.
Yep.
You can never get that on a VR set.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, it will be there 100%.
Yeah.
I think we're only a year or two away from getting our phones out, going on Instagram and saying, hey guys, just visited this building. You can invest in it. I've just invested in it. Click the link below and you can do so too. I think we're quite close to that.
Fractional
So I think,
ownership and
yes,
stuff.
in answer to question, whether people will adopt
Not a
it,
fan of that.
I personally, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like I would want to go and see every nook and cranny, which I'm sure you could with the VR set.
Yeah.
But it doesn't change.
But even
the
then, after that
in-person.
viewing, let's just say you then book it with the bot and you go, hey, mister, I'm going to go and see it tomorrow at 10 a.m. And then you go and see it at 10 a.m. and by 11, you've pressed buy.
Mr. Who?
I can
You
see
press
that.
buy. You press purchase now.
You said Mr.
Mr. Bot.
I thought you said Mr. Yo.
It's my
Yeah.
AI platform. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I agree. I think it's going that way.
I think
Yeah.
we've given people so many business ideas in this one podcast.
Should we just cancel this podcast?
We have probably, we could literally, like, you can
This is where the value is, though.
yeah, I know.
In helping not helping, in
Like,
not holding
I've
back.
just had like 3 business ideas just in the space of this half an hour been chatting. Well, 40 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's coming.
Well, everything that happened,
What
we've
is-
got proof that it happened here first. So technically, we could have,
Yeah.
a stake in the business.
We just got to go out and
By the
copyright every
way,
idea now.
like, if you do have an idea and you require investment,
Don't ask us.
come and
we
speak.
can't invest.
Come and speak to the Three
if you want
Intrapreneurs.
to invest in us,
Come and speak to the Three Intrapreneurs. We're open and we have liquid capital that we might invest
With our monopoly money.
because we don't work in a corporate and we earn real money here. Anyway, so next question.
yeah.
And drinking 3-figure bottles of wine on a Wednesday afternoon.
reality.
Yeah, baby. Why not? Why not? Right. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. Can AI algorithms... Oh, Can AI algorithms accurately predict property investment opportunities and potential risks?
What do you mean by risk?
As in what things that might occur in
Because
the next few years.
Risks, as in like you shouldn't buy this because X.
Wow, I mean, imagine it again. It could scrape data such as crime rates. The
Might be a good investment if it's in a bad, what's the word? Bad crime area.
how
A high crime rate area.
live here.
Because-
You will get robbed.
No, come on. Like, I was born and raised in London. You'd never go to Tottenham when I was a kid. Like at 10 p.m. in the dark by yourself, you wouldn't walk around.
Yeah,
You
It's
still
not
wouldn't,
No, now,
unless you come back from the Hotspur Stadium.
now.
You're getting there.
Okay, you guys aren't as streetwise as me, but now it's okay.
He does judo.
Brixton, as a kid, there was shootings and stabbings there all the time. Dan nods his head. Didn't you grow up near there?
Dan was doing the stabbings.
Oh no, you live
Walthamstow.
in Walthamstow. No, he lives in Walthamstow.
Oh, very privileged.
Oh.
He's such a
So you went
privileged
the other
man.
way.
Mum and Dad kicked him out. That was it. I was out in the street. Get over to Walthamstow.
Did you?
I'll tell you the backstory later.
Okay.
How
Well, maybe
nice.
you want to come on us again.
And welcome, Tom.
The
Curveball!
That'd be a real turn of
You thought it was
Yeah.
Daniel Daggers. You went for the cheap Dan.
we went for the cheap dad.
Because we earn a lot of money because we don't work at the corporate.
Oh dear, that's great. That's great.
Oh,
God.
no offense. No offense.
Well, no. So yes, potentially it could highlight. But I think
Yeah.
yes, it will. Yes, it can scrape any data that's out there. It can see perhaps a declining market in a certain area if it has access to all of the sales in that neighborhood, and it can see over the last 2 years that the trend is the selling prices are going down, or perhaps it could see an area that's increasing.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will have
Yeah,
access.
I'm sure.
Anything that's on the internet,
Yeah.
any data that
Data.
is released,
Yeah.
it will have access to.
Yeah.
So therefore, I imagine it will be able to predict certain things, which is why also it's pretty bloody scary.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking of something that can predict trends in the future, not just
100%.
real estate, anything,
sector.
any
This is it.
sector.
Well, it does, doesn't it? Did I read somewhere before that people are making money from this on the stock market?
Probably.
Maybe.
Where they're putting all the data
I
into
believe
it
that.
and they're saying like, look at past performing like sectors
No,
and companies and see the spike and then let me know when a spike is going to come on a future company. I think people are doing that.
Am I right in thinking that an algorithm is basically AI?
It's a good question.
Because I know there's algorithms that trade for you.
I'm not entirely sure.
I used to be in
I'm sure it's
stock broking and commodities broking.
Yeah.
So
What did you sell? 1p shares in the Wolf of
Blue
Wall Street.
chip. Yeah. Pink
I don't want
slips.
to talk about
Pink
it.
slips.
I was going to post something on Instagram and I stopped myself. Very bad time in my life. I actually
is that the
touched
job that you
upon
did
it.
in the first
Oh,
podcast?
yeah, the
Yeah,
first
in the
podcast.
first
Talk about
podcast,
it.
I touched
Yes.
upon it and I stopped myself because it was a very
It was
funny time in my
quite- yeah,
life.
yeah.
You conned people.
Cold calling, scammers. You
we
were
haven't
scamming,
stopped
weren't you?
that.
I don't actually know
Were you
to
scamming
this day
people?
what the business was up to.
No.
But it was weird.
Really?
Yeah.
Very weird. Basically, the only way I can describe it, the real Wolf of Wall Street, like if you look at a film called The Boiler Room, which came out way before The Wolf of Wall Street, that's what it's like. Not glamorous. Like my boss used to take my chair away and make me stand up to project my voice down the telephone, and he wouldn't give me that chair back until I convinced people to receive a brochure. My job was an opener, and then there was the closer, the senior broker.
Yeah.
As junior broker, I was an opener, so I had to get them excited about the business and wanted to receive our investment brochure. And I had a target of hitting, I can't remember, it was like 4 or 5 brochures a day.
That's quite low, isn't it?
It's decent. And then we'd have a second call. It was called the second call.
Are these cold calls, by the way? Sorry.
Cold call.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, people I've never met before. Then I had to do a second call, which was to convince them to speak to the senior broker. The senior broker would have 2 more calls or 1 call, and then close them.
Wow.
And initially it was commodities, and then stocks. So it was called placements. So we were helping people float onto the market. So very similar
Nice.
to
The Wolf of Wall Street.
yeah, because they did Steve Madden, but it was on a much smaller scale.
Love
Yeah,
that.
like when I
Love that
left
movie.
that industry, that the film came out, And I was just like,
you
fucking
get
hell.
PTSD?
Because his job was connector.
PTSD.
It's
That was his
honestly,
boss.
it's bad. it was bad. Story for another day, another podcast. I'll save it. Let's get to the Q&A.
Great.
Let's do it.
Do you have any questions from anybody received online?
There was one that came through from Dana Duron, who is a fantastic interior designer. She said,
He's getting money from people on the side, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%.
Give me a fiver, I'll shout you out.
"Fiver, is that it? Wow, you're so cheap." She says,
Plug in the website.
"Can an agent be arrogant, or do they have to kill people with kindness?"
Oh, good question. Good question. For me, I mean, look, how in my career I've always dealt it. Is kindness is everything. You always want to get people on your side. You want to be, treated how you would treat others. So,
See, I disagree with that.
okay.
That sentence.
Why?
It feels like deja vu because I feel like we've spoken about this
It
before.
does feel like deja vu.
Just that sentence, treat others how you want to be treated. But I might want to be treated a different way to Alex, how Alex wants to be treated, how you might want to be treated, how Dan might want to be treated.
Yeah.
So I always think treat other people how they want to be treated. But anyway, I'll let you...
But surely you would want to be treated in a nice way. Like I would treat you in the same respect that I would want you to treat me.
Sure, but there's, clients are different. Some client might want, to hear from you once a week, once every other week.
Yep.
Another client might want to hear from you every single day. So people want to be treated
True.
differently.
Yeah.
Subjective in a way.
Subjective.
But I get
Yeah.
I get the gist of what you're saying.
Yeah. But for me, then, of course, when we get to this stage, latter end, this latter stages of our career, latter stages, not really latter stages,
So we're
hopefully,
just
but
starting.
Later stages.
later stages of our career, having that decisiveness and having that
Cutting edge.
cutting edge where you can then flip. You've used your kindness in a way that works for us, part of our sales, isn't it? We've almost got people on our side. We've built rapport with them. We've got them into a place where we want them. But then ultimately, you've got to do what you've got to do for the client to get the deal done, to get the price that they want, to negotiate the extra £50,000, not open up a window of opportunity for a buyer. So kindness is everything, though, I believe, because you want to have long relationships with brokers, and people around you who you're going to do lots of business with in the future. And if you create a relationship with someone which is almost a bit toxic and poisoned, then, they might not offer you opportunities for your clients. When you get to negotiation, they might not want to negotiate with you. And suddenly it's a personal thing. And obviously when you're negotiating, you almost have to put those personal relationships aside because it's business.
Yeah.
So there's a real... it's a real mixture, isn't it?
Interesting.
Before I answer it, do you want to add anything? Arrogance or kindness?
Firstly, I think this Dana has obviously had an experience of agents being arrogant to her before.
I've worked with her, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
It wasn't me.
Makes perfect sense.
It wasn't me.
Does she also think they're passive aggressive? Just kidding. Yeah, which is a shame because people are discriminatory, if that's the word. Like when they do have an experience with someone of a certain ilk, they will then try and
Paint them with the same brush.
all of those people in that category. It's just human nature, which is a shame. That's why we have such a bad name, because people have bad experiences with people that are in the marketplace with estate agents, which is why we're trying to take ourselves away from the estate agency and become more of an advisor. But anyway, my answer would be there is I think you should be confident, but not arrogant. And I know there's a fine line between the two. And I can see how we would come across as arrogant in some instances. And I think when you're negotiating as well, especially us, an advisor is someone who tells someone what they don't particularly want to hear, but what they need to hear. Whereas I think an estate agent is someone who tells their clients or buyers things they want to hear just to get a deal done, which can be a lie.
Yeah.
So I think as advisors, sometimes we might be hated by our clients, but at the end of the day, we're telling them the right thing to do. So,
yeah,
and also one more thing, like going back to subjective and people being different. one of my ex-girlfriends might call me arrogant, but Harriet, my fiance, might think I'm confident.
And that's a really, and just to add on to that, in terms of like a real estate analogy, we've recently closed on the sale of a house, and the clients were American. And when we went to pitch for that business, we were having to, bang on our chest, saying we've done this, we've sold this. This is our career sales to date, because the American brokerage model expects you to, say how good you are and what you've done. Yeah. So that could be borderline arrogance. But then this afternoon, we're going to meet a couple in their 80s. Yeah. We're obviously not going to do that. Yeah. We're going to be going there, guards down, very relaxed, very calm, very gentle, very kind. So, I agree. Like, on the other side, how they perceive you could be different from different people, but how we portray ourselves to other people, like we have to be chameleons. Like we will, to different people, we have to maybe portray some arrogance / confidence. But as you said, the line is very fine between the two. Yeah. A different client, you're not going to do anything like that, and you're going to try and kill them softly with kindness.
Yeah.
I agree. We have to be comedians.
That's how you deliver the message.
Comedians? Is that what I said?
No,
chameleons.
You said chameleons.
He was like, yes, we have to be comedians.
That's you, Al. You're the comedian.
Mr. Infotainment. That should be your hashtag, Mr. Infotainment.
Yes.
Well, it's an upgrade from Mr. Core.
Mr. Core.
Core is anything below £1 million.
Well, I don't know, we're laughing like dickheads. Like, can you even afford £1 million home yourself? Well, I can.
No, it was a good question. That was a really good question.
Yeah, nice question.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah, very good question. Thank you, Dana Duron.
Have we got one last question?
Yeah, we do. What is your favourite part about having a podcast?
Oh, good question. My favourite part about having this podcast. To be fair, I just thoroughly enjoy having these conversations. We have a lot of fun.
Oh, get lost.
No, we do though, don't we? We have a lot of fun.
You don't want to sit here, speak to us.
No, we have a lot, but we do. It's wicked. We have a lot of fun doing it. It's nice to be able to also just chat about real estate in general and see everyone's different opinions, and we have a laugh doing it as well. It's lovely, obviously, getting the response from the people who listen. Like, we all get so many
it's amazing
messages, don't we?
Yesterday, so an answer question. Yesterday, I went for coffee with a broker who was over from Australia. I'm thinking, like, right, we're here in Marylebone.
So you've got property under $1 million to sell, something.
No, he's a broker and deals with, similar to us, 3 to 10 million, prime, lower super prime. And this is a guy in Australia who's listening to our podcast. And for me, I was like, wow. And he was just saying, like, he loves how natural and relaxed it is. And, as you just said, like, we've got no script. We have the heading of what we're going to be talking about, and we have a couple of questions that come in. Yeah. Apart from that, we're just 3 guys having a chat in front of 4 cameras that, we don't even think about. And, like, we're so lucky. I met you a year and a half ago. I met you a year ago. But we have, so many people message us and comment saying, the camaraderie that we've got, that it's just, the banter, but then there's the serious element. Like, it's just enjoyable. Yeah. Like, I look forward to when we have the filming. Yes. And that's so cool. Like, we're pushing content out there, hopefully helping people, pushing content out, pushing our own brands out there, and just having a chat with mates
100%
over a glass of wine. Yeah.
We should actually have a
3-figure.
You should have some, Benji.
You've got to rate it, Benji. Go on, having a good old swig.
Again, that is a 3-figure bottle of wine. Yeah, it's good. Why don't you guys try it? Just me then. But no, it's just 3 guys having a chat in the afternoon, just cracking on.
Yeah. What do you like it, Al?
The money.
We make no money.
This is a negative.
It's costing us money.
This is a red on.
Alex just loves spending money.
I love spending money and then getting nothing back. No, that's it. That is actually it. Like, I feel a bit of an obligation and a duty to actually do this. I don't think anyone in our industry. Maybe they do, but I haven't done the research, and I'm sorry if you do have a podcast, but I haven't heard it. But I feel a bit of a duty and obligation to give back to our industry. Yeah. I think our main listener is people who work in our industry or people that want to get into our industry, who want to be in the positions that we're in today.
Mm-hmm.
So when I speak, I feel like I'm speaking to them, and this industry has done a lot for me, and I feel like I need to give back to, whether you want to call it the universe or like, I don't know. Yeah.
Manifest it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Thanks,
nice,
man.
I like that.
Thank
That's
you.
Nice. I agree.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. That'll be my answer.
No,
So-
it's nice. Yeah.
But how can people
Yeah.
repay us back?
Money, baby. 10% or whatever you make.
We're not a charity.
Especially if you make an AI bot that starts negotiating.
Yeah, true.
Or a
Becomes
buying agent.
agency.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, I think that's apart from that, people can repay us back by liking and subscribing and
Yeah,
guys-
sorry. That's what I should have said.
Pay the fee.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
kind
that's
of
what you were
what I was
going
That's
about.
where I was
Pay the
going.
fee.
That's what you were going,
Rather
right.
than the money side.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes.
Sort
Again.
code is account number.
60.
Good joke, Ollie. Now my sort code is...
I made that joke.
Yeah, but we'll cut that bit. I make the jokes.
Jokes.
We can't make
You're-
We can't make
No.
the jokes.
You're the
We're just-
chameleon. I'm the comedian.
Yeah, I'll take that.
All right. So, yes, if you gain something, if you started a big AI bot business, remember to share the podcast as a thanks to us. If you go and make billions of pounds, and also like and subscribe, rate it 5 stars, leave a comment. All questions from now on have to go into the comment section of the podcast, and then we'll pick them up over the week and then answer them in the next podcast. So please don't DM us any questions. Thank you very much. Where can people find you?
At Benji.Weinberger.
Where can people find you?
At Oliver.Ingalls.
And that's on Instagram, right?
That's
Yes.
on Instagram.
That's Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Alex_Evagora. We've been the Three Intrapreneurs today. Thank you very much for listening to episode number... What are we?
8.
8.
8.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. So far, we've come.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like 45 minutes, these podcasts, aren't they?
Bit more.
Bit more?
Bit more, an
About
hour.
6 hours. 6
Bye.
hours.
Okay. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
We'll see you on the next podcast.
See you later.
No, to the
To the
The
jingle.
jingle.